Let's have a look at what happened in the last race. We finished 11th, we gained 2 positions, but I don't think that's all that good. Why? Because if we look at the race analysis, we can see that on the first session our tires worn out because it did a few dry laps, and I don't remember this game that, well, I might have remembered, but I wasn't certain if the tires would run out quickly on dry, and then it didn't last throughout the entire rain session, so we had to pit twice in the rain, so that held us back a lot. And then at the end we had this small pit stop, so it was not optimum. But we finished 11th, so it's like not really good, but kind of okay. I think if we done something a bit more, done something a bit better, we could potentially get 10th, or if we're really lucky, like, we can get maybe 7th or 6th. Main takeaway here was that the rain tires only last about 5 to 7 laps on the rain before it wears out. So if it's not raining and you start on rain tires, it's more or less meaningless, because the rain tires won't have enough life to cover the long rain stint required. And then at the final stint, if we made our strategy that it can last 28 laps, the maximum of the hard tires, and make it go as far as possible, then we would have potentially not need this last pit stop and we would have a great result. But unfortunately, we gave it just enough fuel and we never noticed that it rained past the 30-minute mark. Because if you look at the lap results, about lap 17 we know that's the 30-minute mark, and then it rained for like until like 37 minutes, which is lap 26 or so, and I was never aware of that. Feels like the game is lying to us, but I think this might be they want to simulate realism, because if it rains for 30 minutes, it takes some time for the track to dry up. So they straight away stop at lap 17. And then also our driver made 2 mistakes, unfortunately. So I think my risk setting is a bit high, so that's really bad. But if we look at the race summary, no one did a 2-stop and everyone did a 3-stop, so no one had like a very optimum strategy. Everyone is making mistakes. I mean, not really mistakes, but the race strategy isn't optimal or perfect. You say it's a mistake, so it's kind of like everyone's doing bad, because I had a look at the lap chart. I looked through most of the drivers off camera, and a lot of people at they had to pit twice during the rain session. They didn't make the rain tires last throughout the entire rainy lap, because if you look at these two, which done really well on the standings, they gained like 5 and 7 positions from the qualifying, and they finished really good. And if you look at them, they had to pit at lap 16 and 17, and that was when it's raining. Yeah, and then look at this guy. It stopped raining at 26 or so, and he had to pit again. So no one really had an optimum strategy. they didn't have an optimum strategy because they had to pit twice during the rain session, and optimally you want to have like one pit and you're done with the rain. And if we have a look at the pitting, we're very lucky here because it stopped raining at lap 26, and at that exact time we ran out of tires, and then we went on to a hard tire, and if we pitted a lap early, he would came out with a rain tire, and then we will pit again, and we have an even worse result. So we got lucky here. And we'll have a look at this person in the blue. He start on the dry, and then he pit for wet, and then last only up to lap 23 with his wet tires, and then he pit. It stopped raining at 26 lap, and then his dry tires made it all the way to the end. So I'm not sure if he something to do with the setting or it actually stopped raining for him at lap 23. But this is somewhat optimum strategy. And then this person, he did well. He qualified poorly and gained positions, but pitting in the laps doesn't look all that good. This isn't that good because if you look at this, he had to make a pit stop here near the end, 2 pit stops here. It's not like equally spaced out, so it's not good. But this one is virtually a perfect setup. And if you look at the person who finished third, start on the dry, and then he changed tires on 21st. But for me, it rained until lap 26, so I don't get why he would change his tires here and would just go on the hard tires. Because here you have to be able to accept rain tires, and you have to make the setting as put on rain tires when it's wet. And if it's still raining at lap 21, still wet, so I think he should have came out with the wet tires. So I'm not sure what happened here and how he could make the settings that he didn't came out with the wet and it's just dry tires all the way through. So this is optimum, but it stopped raining for us on lap 26, and I seriously don't get why it stopped raining for him at lap 21. I just had a look. He just went off when it was wet by himself. There wasn't anyone in front or behind of him. And he went off again by himself, so yeah. So we can keep this aggressive, overtake and defend, but we have to reduce all this clear track risk. Now I don't think making it have more aggressiveness is good, because last time we only made one mistake, this time we made twice. And if we have a look at the guys in the front, they stopped raining after lap 21. So I got mixed up. So actually it did show up it stopped raining at lap 21. Because I was looking at the rain tires and I thought it was still raining. But no, it stopped at lap 21. I've just calculated that a pit stop takes about 54 seconds. This statistic here. And we know that we lose about 5 seconds for using rain tires on dry. And we calculated that if we stay out on dry for more than 11 laps, then we start losing time. So I think starting out on rain tires does help gain time from not going into a pit stop. But then this is a long rain session and we can't finish the rain session without refueling or changing tires, so that wasn't good. Fitness class would be good for this driver, but you can't do it mid-season. You have to go to it at the start because it reduces his motivation, and that is not good for performance, so it's only good at the start of the season. But normally you would pick a driver with a bit less weight, so fitness class wouldn't often be used. I'm gonna make him do technical training because his talent isn't that good. I think I might actually increase the technical inside, but last time when I tried to look up on website and calculate the tools on what each training does, I couldn't find results. I'm just gonna let him do yoga because I don't think there's anything to train the talent. Just had a look at what happened after yoga. Gain some motivation and then gain about 5-6 points of concentration. So I don't think it's all that helpful because he has good concentration already. So I don't think I won't even spend money on training this person because I don't think there's anything to train other than weight or making him more motivated and more aggressiveness. But he's going off track already, so it wouldn't make sense to have more aggressiveness unless he has better concentration, so he wouldn't go off track. So I think this driver is more or less close to fully trained. And all the other stuff, it doesn't really matter other than the experience. Stamina might a bit, but who really cares because he hasn't drained his energy level in the race much. There's a lot of stuff that has a high wear. I just had a look at it. I don't think doing testing would be good. Otherwise, we'll have a lot of parts that would need to be changed. And if you have a look, the chassis, the front wing, they can probably make it to the end. And even if the car malfunctions on the last few laps, it's not a big deal. So parts might break on the last few laps because we're gonna have a high wear. But it's probably gonna be fine. Because even if it breaks, there's not many laps to go. And then we can just change side pod and suspension. And if we had do any testing, we probably won't get many laps done because a lot of parts have high wear, and then we're gonna have to change a lot of stuff and we're gonna run out of money because we only have 16 million and the parts cost a lot, and you always have to keep changing the wings and your engine and the brakes, so that's gonna be a lot of costs. So we're just gonna replace the side pods and the suspension. I had a look at the tire wear and the fuel, and with the medium you can do 2 stops, you can do a 1 stop on hard. But we look at the fuel load, we need 124 liters compared to 81 liters on the hard versus the medium. But if we look at the track, it's mostly acceleration and power. There's not much handling required, and then the overtaking is normal. It's not difficult to overtake. If a track is difficult to overtake, we might consider the softer tires and doing more stops and more stops for handling. So I think we're going to go with a one stop. We're going to use all of the past setups, and then I'll put the calculation results in. Have a fine enough setup for the car, and I calculated all the values and entered it, and then we're going to find the wing split now, and we're just gonna keep all of these the same and just change the wing to see what the wing needs to be. So we just found out the wing split is between 50 and 25. And I previously already entered the fuel for each lap and did some calculations accordingly. And we're gonna give them 3 extra laps of fuel. We're going to also enter the car wear into setup calculator tool. Because last time I forgot to do this, and my calculator changes setup according to wear, but it's not all that much change. Just copied all of the wear into a calculator tool. I think we're probably going to qualify very well in this race. then I just put the setups in for the race. And if you look at this doesn't have any wear compensation compared to having wear compensation. There is some difference, but then most races the car wear is somewhat similar, so even if you don't change this and forget about it, mostly you get similar results. But if you don't have the wear compensation, then there's some extra time left that you're not gaining. Just entered the fuel for the car. Going to reduce his clean track risk a lot, like half it, and then we're going to increase the overtake and defending risk because he didn't do any mistakes during overtake or defend in the past 2 races. And we're going to set him doing the boost laps. The boost laps is good because and what some of the past races what I've seen is that once he do the boost laps, his time reduces a bit, but then all the other subsequent laps his time gets even lower, and that's kind of like realism they implemented in the game. It's like if he pushes hard and he gains the experience and information of the track and can drive faster for the remaining laps. So it's not just he's going fast for 3 laps, he gains a bit of time after those 3 laps. I'm also going to increase his risk taking at the start of the race, be a bit more adventurous, because our car is not all that good right now and we have the testing points coming soon. And then this way we can learn what his optimum risk setting is. We can learn and make the mistakes earlier on, and once we have the quicker car, we don't make the mistakes and be more conservative. And increase the pitting for a problem near the end of the race, and we know a pit stop takes about 55 seconds. And then we assume we lose about 5 seconds per lap. It's about 11 laps. So yeah. So this is the setting for if there's a problem on the car part, should he pit to fix the problem? And initially we had like 5 laps remaining. Now we set it 9 laps, and I think we finished the session and the setup here. And if we have a look at the overall standings, we dropped a bit in position because a lot of other people also gained points. But I think we're doing better than what I would expect from my past experience, because normally I would expect to finish at the last of the pack if the season is halfway through and your car is not upgraded. So I think we're doing good. In my past experience, if your car is not upgraded and you're midway through the season, you'll normally be looking at like all the way back here, and you do not have any chance of competing near here. And even if you start a good season and you start from race 1 and you upgrade your car, sometimes you can end up near the back of the pack, even if you're doing everything properly, because everyone's very competitive. But this time I don't get why they are not all that competitive right now compared to my past experience.